Hi and welcome. Today we'll be covering the basic SchoolReach broadcast for the Christina Sykes Academy. The first thing we will do is go to the SchoolReach website at secure.schoolreach.com. Make sure you include the HTTPS before the URL. Next, we will log in with 609-643-0400 for the login number and the PIN number that was provided to you outside this screencast. This is going to take us to the homepage of SchoolReach, where you're going to find certain links for some of the functionalities of the system, but mostly we're going to focus on the first two, which are SR Express and the SR 3.0. To start, we will click on the SR 3.0. For some reason, we need to double click in order to go to the next page. The main idea of this basic broadcast will be to create easy recordings in advance before sending the actual broadcast. So what we'll do next is we'll go to the library and record those messages before sending out a launch. So we'll go to library. In the library, you're going to find some old messages from previous recordings or previous broadcasts. But at this point, we were going to focus on the easy recordings. So we will click on the left side panel here, and we will include the phone number where the system is going to call us back in order to retrieve, to record a message. So I will include 609-643-0414. I will include a name relevant to the message that we're going to broadcast. So I will include, let's say, a screencast test ENG first, and we're going to place the phone call. At this point, the SchoolReach system will call you back to the phone number that you specified, and it will prompt you to record the message. It is pretty simple to follow the instructions to record a message. Once you record your message through the phone, what will happen, it will appear here, and for some reason at this point on the website it has an error and it will automatically put EasyRM message. So what we want to do is change this to the proper name that we wanted. So we had put in before screencast test, and we're just gonna leave the language as English. So that will be the actual how you want this to be recorded. Once you have successfully renamed the message and it appears on the list of messages that you have available in your library, what we want to do is record now the message in Spanish. Again, you will include the same phone number or a different phone number in case you want to make somebody else record that message in Spanish. So you will include 609-643-0414, and at this point, I guess we don't need to include a name for that message because it's not working, but just make the phone call, place the phone call, and again, you're going to receive a phone call from the system. Just follow the instructions and you will record a Spanish message. Once you have both messages that you want to send, this English version and the Spanish version of the message, what will you want to do next is click on launch. This will take you to the launching page of the broadcast. We will start with the voice piece of the launch. Once in the launching page, you're gonna see in the first part, you're gonna see each one of them represent
it says
a
choose a
different
list
method of distribution.
What you have, we have predefined.
They're all going to be
one
triggered
for CSA
parents
parents
and
and
one for CSA staff.
You're ready. They
with
both
this
have like
bottom
subgroups underneath them.
button here
that is,
but
proceed.
they give you the
Okay.
option. So the idea is to load all the fields
each one of them
as needed
if you really
in each
needed
of
it.
these three
Like
tabs.
in the most general
case,
and you will be able to
we will
launch.
choose CSA parents and CSA staff all together. That is actually to send like a general broadcast for this basic tutorial, right? But since we're not gonna do that, we are gonna just run a test. I have created a sublist under the CSA staff with one member, which is just like myself. So I'm gonna click out that, and I'm gonna check this one in. So that's my distribution. For now, there's only one person in this test group, which is myself. We will move on to the second part of the voice piece, which is select profiles. Under this select profiles, the first option that we do want to change in here is alternative language. When the call comes in from the system, it will prompt us to press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. So this is very important that we select if we want to do a bilingual selection. We don't want to change this because it only really has one option, so don't worry about that. For this section 2B here, select a broadcast type. What we want to do for now is choose general. In theory, you could choose any of the other options. For now, general is the one that we will be using. So that's pretty simple. Moving on to the third part. In this section, you're going to have the option to choose when is the broadcast going to be sent. You have two options. You could send it immediately, and that will be distributed right after you click proceed, or you could schedule a future time when the broadcast will be sent. Both options are doable for this tutorial. We're going to choose immediately. I assume most people will do that. For this last part, the broadcast contact information, we don't really need to fill it up. It's an optional feature, and I have decided not to include it is because by default the phone number that will appear in any broadcast will be the 609-643-0400. At this point, we have concluded with the voice part of the broadcast, and we will move on to the email tab to select the options there. But make sure you don't press proceed, because this will actually send the broadcast. So we want to complete all the tabs and all the settings before we press proceed. In the email tab, in the first section, what you're going to find is that the same distribution list will stay from voice. So unless you want to change it, you could change it, but pretty much it should stay the same. In the second part of the email tab, you're going to find the configuration email. You will have to include the sender's email, and you'll also have to include the subject title for the email. In this case, I'm just going to put screencast test, and there's no template here, so don't worry about that. And then here's where you're gonna include the body of the email as you would just do regularly. Once we have completed the email body of the message, we will move on to the bottom part here. These options pretty much you shouldn't touch for a general broadcast. If you would really like to attach a file to the message, you could. It will come from the library, but it is not really practical from my point of view. Section 2C, we will keep general from the voice part, As well, we will leave all the section 3 and 4 options. Remember, do not click proceed, because for this tutorial we want to do also the text message part. Again, you have a distribution list that is already predefined. In the second part of this configuration of the text message, you have to include who is sending the text message. And also in this bottom part right here, you have 129 characters available for the body of the text message. So make sure you don't oversee that number. For this part 2B, we will just keep it as general as before, and part 3 will keep the same settings from voice and email. We don't have to change that. These settings could be independent from voice and or email, but we want to keep it for this tutorial to be launched immediately, so we don't have to worry about this part, and we don't have to worry about part number 4. At this point, we will click on proceed. We will move on to press proceed, and once we press proceed, the broadcast confirmation window will pop out. It will specify out the launch time and also the list size. In this case, it's only one person, and also since I'm the only one on that list, if you want to continue, we will just press the send button, and that will launch the broadcast with the including voice, email, and text. Thank you. This is the end of the tutorial.